See, this is what I get. Every time I do this, we have issues with audio. I'm going to have to cut that out. But anyway, good afternoon. I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. It is the 10th of October, 2021, 4:20 p.m. now, on what we expect to be a busy severe weather day across the southern United States, specifically Oklahoma and Texas. The map you're looking at over the last 3 hours is visible satellite, weather radar. The arrows indicate surface wind direction and surface wind speed, and then the red box you see pop up at the end, that is a tornado watch. That is in effect for portions of central Oklahoma, including all of the Oklahoma City metro, southwest Oklahoma, including Altus, Lawton, if anybody knows Medicine Park, Mount Scott, that area in southwest Oklahoma, and then adjacent regions of northwest Texas, including Vernon, Wichita Falls, Electra, 287, roughly east of Childress, all the way down to near Henrietta, Texas. We have rain falling across the Texas Panhandle this afternoon, where strong northwest winds have ushered in a much cooler air mass, temperatures falling into the 40s and 50s with a cold rain, brisk northwest winds south of the cold front. You can see we have southwest winds pushing east across the Permian Basin. That is where the dry line has surged east. We have very strong southwest winds. The Guadalupe Mountains are gusting up to 85 miles an hour at this point. And east of the dry line, most of us have been quite breezy today. Southeast winds gusting over 25, 35 miles per hour, ushering in abundant amounts of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's flowing inland ahead of our storm system. We expect thunderstorm initiation the next 1 to 2 hours across portions of northwest Texas and southwest Oklahoma. Those storms are going to race northeast towards the Oklahoma City metro area up Interstate 44. For most of us here in Texas, we're going to have to wait until after 6 to 7 p.m. for upper level forcing and upper level lift to arrive, get rid of our storm cap or storm inversion, and then we're going to see thunderstorms rapidly develop along the dry line. But before we get into the timing of all that, let's take a look at the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Now, what I want to point out is, while you may see a bunch of different colors, all sorts of lines drawn on the map, I just want to emphasize, if any risk level is a severe weather risk, it doesn't matter if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're in any risk, that means you do have a risk of severe storms tonight. And that means you need to keep an eye on the sky and pay attention. Don't get drawn into the hoopla over where the lines are drawn, which color you're in. The colors are specifically related to the probability of severe storms occurring within 25 miles of any given point. That would be like your home, your office, your business, your exact location. Draw a circle around you that extends 25 miles, and there you go. That is what the probabilities are, and that's how these outlooks are drawn. Green zones, you have about a 5% chance of severe storms within your immediate area. Yellow is 15%, orange is 30%. So think about it, and 1 in 3 chance of severe storms in your immediate area tonight, that's quite significant. There's a level 4 risk up around Oklahoma City. That is a 45% chance of severe storms in the immediate area, so a nearly 1 in 2 chance. In terms of severe storm hazards this evening, most of us are not going to have to deal with a tornado risk. Most of the yellow zones, most of the green zones, not necessarily worried about a tornado risk. A brief tornado can't be ruled out, but the main issue with the most intense storms will be damaging straight line winds and perhaps some pocket change size hail. Along and north of Interstate 20, where low-level winds are stronger, we could deal with a tornado threat this evening, and I do expect a tornado watch will be out in a few hours. That's where the orange shading is, and that's where we do have a medium risk of, or a medium threat of tornadoes this evening. Now, as we translate over to the simulated weather model radar, which we will do now, I'm going to load a loop here that runs from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. It's going to take just a minute for the radar data, or the data to load here. And it's going to look wonky for a second, so just give it time. But what we're expecting is around You know what? Here. Instead of doing a loop, let's just do it this way. Here's the simulated weather model radar from the latest run of the high-resolution rapid refresh model. This is for 6 p.m., so now less than 2 hours. Again, this is just one weather model. Please don't take it literally, and please don't expect things to play out exactly as any one weather model says. However, that being said, you can see this specific model has multiple supercells underway across Oklahoma north of the Red River, from just north of the Oklahoma City Metro, Guthrie, towards El Reno, which is west of Oklahoma City on Interstate 40, southwest, north of Highway 62, northwest of Law, northwest of Fort Sill, and kind of near Medicine Park, Mount Scott, the Wildlife Nature Preserve. And that is where we could have significant tornado problems here shortly. In fact, the tornado risk is quite significant this evening across southwest and central Oklahoma. So if by chance you have anybody who is heading north on Interstate 35 out of DFW to Oklahoma City, or heading up Interstate 44 from Wichita Falls, they need to be where they're going by probably 6 p.m. Otherwise, I would strongly recommend no travel north of the Red River from Interstate 44 east to Interstate 35 after about 5 p.m. through at least 9 p.m., as the potential for dangerous tornadic supercells will crossing both interstates is quite significant this evening. South of the Red River, if that wasn't ominous, scary enough, south of the Red River, you can see generally pretty quiet here still at about 6 p.m. We're starting to see some thunderstorm activity develop along the dry line, which is kind of where this linear segment is from San Angelo up to west of Wichita Falls near Electra and Vernon. That's kind of the dry line's positioning here. This is 6 p.m. Fast forward 1 hour. You can see we've got thunderstorms quickly developing along the dry line from near Wichita Falls to west of Eastland. That would be Cisco, just east of Abilene, southeast of San Angelo to near Sonora. These storms, I am hopeful, and we all need to be hopeful, that these will quickly essentially just unzip along the dry line and we'll have a squall line develop very quickly. We do not want discrete thunderstorms this evening in North Texas. If we get discrete storms in North Texas, our tornado threat's going to be as high as the folks up in Oklahoma City this evening. If we can keep storms linear or in a line segment, that will at least keep the threat for long-lived, strong tornadoes lower. Nevertheless, there will be a tornado risk this evening in North Texas and Texoma, even with a squall line. Although hopefully that would keep the tornado threat, or tornadoes would be brief and not necessarily the stronger variety. As we fast forward to 8 o'clock, you can see we do have a line of thunderstorms, a broken line extending from near Wichita Falls to Eastland, coming up on Palo Pinto County, so west of Breckenridge on Highway 180, coming into Brownwood and Brady. Again, this is just a weather model's attempt to show a squall line. If we do have a broken squall line, you see where some of these breaks are near Wichita Falls, kind of almost a cellular nature with these storms in western North Texas, we would have to watch for a tornado risk in addition to large hail damaging straight line winds. I do see that little cell all out by itself in eastern Collin County. I'm going to assume that's an anomaly for now. We have a very strong capping inversion in place east of the dry line, which is why we're having to wait for the upper level lift to arrive in a couple hours to break the cap on the dry line and have all these storms fire up. So I don't know why this specific model run at this hour has this random cell out by 380, what is that, Farmersville? Wow, I was right. I get a cookie. But that isn't a high probability at this time. That being said, let's turn the little AC unit off first. If we have discrete supercells this evening in North Texas or Texoma, there will be a significant tornado risk. That's about the easiest way I can put it. So we'll keep an eye out for that. This is 8 p.m. 9 p.m., you can see a line of storms coming up on Bridgeport, Decatur, moving over Mineral Wells into Weatherford, Stephenville. East of Brownwood now, probably to near Dublin, Comanche, Sunsaba. And you can see storms aren't developing further south at this point. That's where, because the upper level lift is going to be weaker the farther south you go. So there's still some question how far south the squall line will develop. But again, the highest risk for severe weather will be North Texas area, the eastern big country, Texoma. And again, if we have discrete storms fire up ahead of this squall line to the east of the squall line, we're going to have problems. Let's just, again, that's the easiest way I can put it. Squall line itself, strongest storms could produce destructive straight line winds of 70 to 75 miles per hour, pocket change size hail, and yes, we are going to still have to watch them for tornado spin-ups, especially in any bowing segments of the squall line, any areas where the wind starts pushing out and allows a circulation to develop on the north side of a bow, and on comma heads, just where we have little kinks in the line or little circulation spin-up. We have a lot of low-level wind shear tonight, which is why we are talking so much about a possible tornado threat. Now, I am hopeful we can just get through this without any tornadoes whatsoever south of the Red River. But there could certainly be a few brief tornadoes, at a minimum. And given the strong wind shear, I mean, honestly, if we have a discrete supercell, or we have a break in this line, and that storm, or in a storm on the tail end of any line segment is able to attain supercellular characteristics, we could have a significant threat of a tornado. So we'll keep that in mind. But as it stands now, the threat for strong, long-lived tornadoes appears quite high up in southwest and central Oklahoma, not as much here in Texoma and North Texas. This is 10 p.m. You can see a very rowdy line of thunderstorms extending from near Whitesboro down to Denton, Louisville, Fort Worth, Cleburne, all the way southwest, coming up on Clifton, Gatesville, Lampasas, southwest to Llano, and you can see we even have some thunderstorm attempts further southwest into Fredericksburg and Kerrville. Now, the low-level wind fields this evening are going to be strongest across North Texas and Texoma. The farther south you go, the weaker low-level wind fields will be, which greatly reduces the risk of a tornado, but does not eliminate the threat for damaging winds and large hail with the strongest storms. And that being said, I can't even rule out a brief tornado across central Texas or the hill country this evening. This is going to now be, as we come up to 11 p.m., you can see squall lines starting to push east of the DFW Metroplex. That's going to be coming up on Bonham, coming up on Greenville, Terrell. That's going to be Ennis to Waco, just west of Interstate 35, all the way down to Temple, Round Rock. You can see squall line becomes more organized as it moves out of the well, technically, I guess still in the hill country, but towards south central Texas, towards Boerne, San Antonio Metro. Again, damaging straight line winds, large hail quite possible with the most intense storms. Across North Texas, Northeast Texas, and Texoma, we're also going to have to watch for a tornado risk. And you can see this model itself is even showing some bowing line segments. You can see this cell around Bonham, Terrell. See how it kind of bows some of those radar echoes out? That is indicative of this model showing damaging straight line winds and perhaps a few brief tornadoes. Again, squall lines don't typically have long-lived, strong to violent tornadoes. That is the concern with any discrete supercells out ahead of the line tonight, or if this squall line is not a solid line but we have breaks in between, like little line segment, maybe a 5-10 mile break of just light rain, then line segment. If we have that happen, the tail ends of the line segments, or the tail end storms could attain supercellular characteristics and an enhanced tornado risk. So we're going to have to watch for that just in case. Midnight, storms moving into northeast Texas, pushing into eastern North Texas, pushing towards Canton. It's going to be Paris, Sulphur Springs, Canton, Fairfield. Push southeast to Waco, push southeast to Temple, pushing into Travis County, the Austin Metro, the northern Brazos Valley. Farther southwest, you can see storms comparatively weaker than storms further northeast, moving into south central Texas. This is again at midnight. And after midnight, hopefully, we're going to start seeing the storms outrun the best upper level lift, the best wind shear, and start to weaken a bit. You can see that quite easily here with storms across south central Texas, the Brazos Valley. Look how they're less organized, more greens and yellows versus red, purples, and the white of doom. But yet, further northeast, where we still have better upper level lift, upper level dynamics, and wind shear, you can see storms are still quite strong. Tyler up to Pittsburgh to east of Paris, Clarksville. You can see still some stronger cores here where we could have brief tornadoes, damaging straight line winds, and some pocket change size hail. Fast forward to 2 a.m., storms coming up on Highway 59 from Texarkana, Longview, Marshall. Southwest, you can see scattered storms across the Brazos Valley, heavy rain falling in parts of College Station, Bryan. You can see storms, it's not necessarily a solid squall line anymore, but a more disorganized, scattered nature to thunderstorms. And that's what we expect after about 1 a.m. or so, at least south of Interstate 20, where the best upper level dynamics are moving away and we start to see more just scattered showers and storms versus a solid line of storms that all have strong winds and some hail. But still, we're going to have to watch these storms. I mean, the severe risk is not zero in the Brazos Valley, not zero here in far east Texas at 2 a.m. Could still have some strong to severe storms with some pocket change size hail, gusty winds, and maybe a brief tornado. And then we are definitely going to have to watch these storms across the Arklatex and northeast Texas well into the night, given there will be strong wind shear in all levels of the atmosphere and a better source of upper level lift. 3 a.m., you can see storms exiting the Arklatex, starting to move, or excuse me, at least exiting northeast Texas, starting to move into Arkansas, Louisiana. You can see storms continue to move into southeast Texas, far east Texas. Some of them may be strong with some small hail, gusty winds. But again, the risk for severe weather will be far lower across southeast Texas and far east Texas early tomorrow morning than what we're going to be dealing with over the next several hours this evening. Again, fast forward to 4 a.m. It's raining and pouring in southeast Texas and Houston. We've got some storms across far east Texas, trying to be a little strong, maybe some small hail, gusty winds, but far, far less organized than what we're expecting over the next several hours across Texoma, Oklahoma, North Texas, and the eastern big country. So again, let's go back to the severe weather outlook. As we get ready to wrap this up, you can see we do have a risk of severe storms all the way from the Texas Hill Country and the Brazos Valley north to the Red River, and that extends into Oklahoma. Orange zones, the level 3 risk, that is generally where we have the highest threat for tornadoes this evening, especially if we have any discrete or semi-discrete thunderstorms versus a solid line of storms. And even the solid line of storms is expected to have a risk of producing a few tornadoes. Damaging straight line winds of 60 to 75 miles an hour. They may be even higher than that if we get a very intense bowing line segment. And the potential for generally pocket change size hail. More discrete thunderstorms could produce hail up to the size of golf balls, maybe even a bit larger if they are able to attain supercellular characteristics for an extended period of time. So with that being said, we encourage everyone. Oh, that is a horrible looking video, isn't it? Oh well, we encourage everyone across the risk zones tonight to maintain situational awareness, have multiple ways to receive weather warnings. Again, this is going to be a nighttime severe weather event. Storms are going to be moving 40 to 50 miles per hour. Fast-moving storms after dark at night, on a Sunday night nonetheless. Not a great situation for folks wanting to receive weather warnings. So we really want folks to pay attention. We don't want folks caught off guard. For example, watching a football game and suddenly finding out, hey, there's a tornado warning in my area. You may recall we did that 2 years ago, 10 days from now, actually 2 years ago. We don't want surprises like that again. So please pay attention, keep an eye on the sky. If you notice weather warnings heading towards your friends or family, shoot them a text. Make sure they know, hey, you've got a bad storm heading your way. You know what? A lot of folks watch streaming services these days. They don't necessarily have the TV on a channel that may have weather warnings pop up on it. So shoot them a note, shoot them a message, give them a call if there's a nasty storm heading their way, and let them know. Tune into the weather, pay attention. You know what? That's That's just part of what we have to do these days. Habits have changed. So, again, we do have storm chasers currently out and about in southwest and south central Oklahoma. They're going to chase the discrete supercells expected this afternoon up in that area. After that, they're going to move south of the Red River and document the squall line this evening. Once storms get underway, we'll have live streaming storm chasing video on our YouTube channel, Texas Storm Chasers, and on our website at texasstormchasers.com. That also includes our free mobile app, Texas Storm Chasers, in your device's app store. And I'm sure I will be back doing live streaming severe weather coverage as well this evening. Now, here's a little behind the scenes info. This office you see, I am actually on the south side of Oklahoma City now. So I'm actually in a fairly significant tornado threat tonight. Most weather models, most of the day, have actually had the most intense storms literally going over my neighborhood. So hoping for the best, but there is a chance the equipment being used to stream this video may not be available in a couple hours. Whether it just be because it doesn't have power or because it's halfway to Fort Smith, Arkansas. Either way, we will do our best to keep weather updates flowing. That's why you have to have multiple ways to receive weather warnings. You know, the National Weather Service is a great way to receive weather information. They are the best. They're who we get most of our information from. So be sure you're following your local National Weather Service office on social media. Weather.gov is the National Weather Service's website, and we will all work together to bring a unified message and keep everybody informed and safe. So I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. Keep an eye on the sky, and we'll be back when needed, hopefully later this evening. Have a good evening, y'all.